Hello, my beautiful entrepreneurs. Today, I am sharing with you how to raise your prices without losing clients, without losing sleep, and without losing your integrity in the process. Now, my friends, this is the most often asked question that I get, and I am so excited to be able to share with you everything I know on this particular topic. Now, just so you know, I want you to stay with me because at the end, I'm also going to share with you a training that I have done on how to get 3 clients in the next 30 days. So it's going to be a nice complement to everything we are going over here. Now, here's what's on deck. Let me make this a little bigger. So what I'm going to be showing to you today is why raising prices can attract better clients, the most lucrative price point that works best for you, practical techniques to communicate your prices to your clients so that they can actually see the value, and the optimal timing and approach for announcing a price increase if you have existing clients. So we are going to be up for an amazing amount of information today. All right, so first, let's go into pricing in general. So I am not a believer of, oh, if you're like a decent coach, then you have to charge $15,000, you have to charge $20,000 a year or whatnot, because then it'll show your value. I want you to understand that when I'm training business owners on charging, the most important piece is that you are in alignment with your prices. What I see way too often is entrepreneurs coming to me and they're like, oh, I want to charge, $1,000 a month or $1,200 a month for their clients. And they get one client every 4 months, and then they are trying to live off of $1,200 to $1,500 every single month, and they don't know how to do that. Now, here's the problem with that, is that if you aren't in alignment with your prices just yet, you're not going to attract the number of clients you need, and then you're going to try to be living off of little to no money. So what I often say to people is it's really okay to start with $300 a month, $500 a month, because you are at a price point where you can attract 10 clients, 12 clients. So then you can get yourself up to $3,000 a month, $5,000 a month, and then you can raise your prices. Now, don't get me wrong. If you want to go into the game and you want to be starting with $1,200 a month, $1,500 a month, that's fine too. I have no problem with that. But if you're finding that you're not able to convert people in your sales conversations and you're not generating enough money per month, you may want to lower your prices. Now, the vice versa is also true. If it's time, if you're charging $100 per month, $200 per month, it's just not enough money for you to be living off of. And now might be the time to increase your prices. So the most important thing I want you to understand here is don't do this because somebody else has told you to do it or because you feel forced to do it. Raise your prices because you are ready to do it. Now let's talk about what that might look like. So what should you charge, right, for what you're doing? So let's talk about that. So in terms of what you should charge, I have a couple different answers here. So first of all, for those of you that are new to me, I'm a business coach who works with women entrepreneurs, specifically who are coaches, consultants, and other client-based businesses. So what that means is as a client-based business, you are doing a service, right? So you might be doing a healing work. You might be doing business management services. You might be doing copywriting. You might be doing staging or interior design or coaching or consulting. So you're working with clients. So one of the things to keep in mind when you're thinking about your pricing is to do a top-down approach. And what I mean by a top-down approach is that let's say you want to be thinking about how much money do you need per month. So let's say you know that you need $10,000 per month. Okay, then you want to be thinking about how many clients can you work with per month. So let's say you're like, okay, I really don't want to work with more than 15 clients per month. So that's $10,000 divided by 15, and that's going to get you around $666 per month is what you want to optimally be charging. So I'm going to do that math again. How much money do you want to make per month? how many clients ideally do you want to be working per month, and that's going to give you your monthly price. Now, for some of you, if you're just starting, you're not going to be able to get, like, $670 may be a little too high for your alignment. Like, you might feel like, nobody's going to say yes to that right now. And that's okay. You can start with $300 a month and then work your way up to $670, over a 3 to 6 month period. For some of you, that $670 is going to be too low. You're like, you know what? For what I'm doing, I could be charging $900 per month. So you could go above that. That $670 is giving you a ballpark of what you should be charging to be having a manageable business that honors your time and honors your energy. All right, so let's go on to our next piece here, which is, let's talk about why your value doesn't actually start in the sales conversation. Because the next thing that I want to talk about here is the fact that so many of you you're struggling because you are thinking, okay, if I do raise my prices, what is that going to mean in terms of what I have to deliver or what I have to do to actually earn those prices from, the perspective of the client? So here's a couple things I want you to know. So first of all, generally speaking, when you are ready to raise your prices, what that means is that it's going to attract a higher level client. And for some of you, that higher level client is in your pool of people right now. What it will do or will mean is that your conversion rate will go down. So if you're normally generating, like you normally do 3 sales conversations, and for every 3 sales conversations, you get 1 client, what will happen when you raise your prices is it might take 5 sales conversations to get 1 client, or 6 sales conversations to get 1 client. So that will shift over time. And that's okay. Like, again, if you just, over time, your conversion rate will probably get better, but it'll just take a little bit of time to catch up. The second thing to remember is some of you, when you raise your prices, are going to have to start fishing in a different pool. And what I mean by that, or fishing more often, is that, let's say right now you're charging $300 a month and you want to go up to $600 a month. Now you're networking. Let's say you're getting a lot of your clients from a meetup group that you go to in your city, which is great. But a lot of those people in the meetup group, they may be at a lower income, or they're expecting free stuff, or they're expecting things to be cheaper. And so it's now time for you to start fishing in a different pond, to start to go to maybe networking groups or associations in your community where there's higher level people there that have either an expectation of spending more or more of a discrepant income. Now, keep in mind that there is no one place like, oh, here's the golden door, and then behind this golden door, all the rich people are hanging out that have the money to pay for you. So I don't want you to fall into that myth of I have to find the people I have to find that place where their people are. But what you can start doing is experimenting with fishing in different ponds, speaking in front of different groups of people, getting in front of different groups of people, and seeing if there's just a bigger percentage of people in different rooms who do have the ability to pay for your higher prices. The other thing that is going to happen is that you have to fish more often. And what I mean by that is, for many of you, let's say you're going out and you're speaking in front of people once every 3 months. You're kind of consistently doing social media maybe 2 or 3 times a week. If you raise your prices, your conversion rate will go down, which means that you need to have 5 conversations for every 1 client. So what that might mean in the beginning is that you've got to also be a little bit more visible in order to get more people interested in your work. Now, the final point that I want to make here in this particular section is about the fact that there is this huge myth out there that everything's part of your sales conversation. Like, if you just communicate your value in your sales conversation, that's going to solve all your problems. But the truth is, that's not actually going to solve your problems, because you could be an amazing salesperson, like the most amazing salesperson in the world. And if the person who is in your sales conversation knows nothing about you, if it is a cold sales conversation, they're not going to close. They're just not. This is why professional salespeople who generally deal with cold sales aren't actually closing more than 1 out of 10 people. Even though they're professional salespeople, they're dealing with cold people who have never heard of you. The key is that you've got to warm people up. Warm people up before they come into the sales conversation with you. And that, my friends, is the power of your marketing. I can say that a million times. Now, what I mean by marketing here is marketing is sharing your wisdom. And it's not this manipulative, oh my gosh, I have to say the right thing so that people buy from you. It's putting yourself out there to share your wisdom. Videos, live, speaking, sponsorships, workshops, interviews, books. Like, these are all forms of marketing. And what happens when you put yourself out there in all of the various ways is that people will have a touch point with you and will have experience from your wisdom, maybe 2, 3, 4 times before they come into the sales conversation with you. And that means they are much, much, much more willing to buy and buy at a higher price. So if you are going to have consistently higher prices, I want you to remember that you've got to increase the way in which people get to know you before they stop in and they are with you. The other thing to remember, final point here in this, is that when you're charging anything over $1,000 in terms of your prices, what you may find, what you're probably going to find, what have I found over the years, is that it takes a 2-step sales process. And when I say a 2-step sales process, what I mean is that it typically, for a price point that is that high, it takes more than just one single cold sales conversation to convince someone to buy from you. It typically takes 2 conversations, 2 ways for them to connect with you. So it might be that they do a sales conversation and then they go into one of your events, or they go into a webinar, or they go into a low price program. And then from there, they connect in with you to buy more from you at a higher price point. So just remember that as you are also increasing your prices over $1,000 per month. Now, last but not least, I want to talk about this next piece here, which is the approach for existing clients. I'm going to make the slide a little bigger just so you can see the steps as I talk through them. The first thing is, if you are somebody who is out there and you've got existing clients, like you're an accountant, you're a bookkeeper, you are a coach who has like a continuous program, you're a hairdresser, let's say you are a consultant, and you have got existing clients and you want to raise their prices. There's a multi-step approach here. So step number 1 is that you are going to decide when you want to raise your prices. So let's say it's June. You're going to say, okay, you want to give your clients somewhere in the ballpark of 30, 60, or 90 days. I like 60 or 90 days to let them know that you're going to be raising your prices. So you'll decide, okay, it's June. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to raise my prices I'm going to give them July and August. I'm going to raise my prices on September 1st. So you would write a letter, an email to all of your clients announcing what the price increase is going to be and why you're increasing your prices. So it might be that expenses have gotten too high. It might be that you have increased your wisdom and your own value and you feel like that is meriting higher prices. It might be that that business has just shifted over the years and it's time to increase your prices. You give them a reason. One of those 3 reasons works great. You tell them the price shift. You tell them it's going to happen on September 1st. That's step 1. Send out that email. In the email, you want to make sure that you also say, let me know that you've received the email. And if there are any questions or you want to chat with me about this, please let me know. Number 2, you go through and you make sure everybody's seen the email. So they either respond saying, I see it, I'm fine with it, or they have not responded at all. And if they haven't responded, you want to give them a call or send them a text to make sure that they've seen it. Then step number 3 is that you're just going to give them the time, right? What will happen at this point is in my experience with clients, 95% of your clients are going to be fine with the price increase, and they're going to be like, okay, they're not going to be happy about it, but they'll be okay with it. And about 5% of your clients may leave. And that's where there's a grieving process that can happen around losing some of your long-term clients. So I just want you to know that the way you can handle that grieving process is first recognize it. It's sad. You've built a relationship with these clients. You don't want to lose them. Like, they're important to you. And yet you are building a different business model. You are building a different life. And that's incredibly important to you. The other thing to keep in mind is that you can have a philanthropic component of your business. So if you want 2 or 3 of those clients you want to keep them and you want to charge a lower amount of money for those clients, that is okay. That can be the philanthropic component of your business. All right. Then the final piece here, right, is you've sent the letter, you've followed up, you've made sure you've sent the email, you followed up, you've made sure people have received the email and that they've responded. If they haven't received the email, you text, you phone call them. You have the conversations with people that want to have the conversations. And then you get to September 1st and you raise those prices. And what may happen is that you then need to go through a marketing period in October and November in order to generate some new clients because you've got some space. But what's so brilliant about that is that you can generate new clients at your higher price point. Woohoo! All right, my friends, so I'm just going to go over this so you can visually see it as well. Let me put it a little bit larger. So write an email, give them 30, 60, 90 days for the price increase, invite them to speak if needed, make sure you ask them to respond and you get all the responses, and just be prepared for some to walk away knowing that it'll be sad, but will also be good. It's one of those bittersweet moments. All right, I would love to hear about your experiences with this. So put in the comments what your experiences have been of raising your prices, how they've been for you, if there's any tips that you want to share, or if you have any questions about this. I promise I will be back in to answer your questions or respond to your comments. I'd love to hear from you. Now, if you like this video, you want to hear more about my how-tos on doubling your income without going broke or crazy in the process, please subscribe and give this a thumbs up, and make sure you hit that notification bell so that every time I send out one of the videos, you'll get a notification. Subscribe, thumbs up, notification bell. All right. And last but definitely not least, I want to share with you the bonus that I promised you at the beginning of the video, which is how to get 3 clients in the next 30 days, especially for those of you that have just raised your prices and you're thinking, now I need to refill all of this. So go to revenuebreakthrough.com/3-tools and you'll find that free gift there. And I'll also put that link in the description around this video so you can click on it there. All right, my friends, here's to you raising your prices, going out and making tons of money and making this world a better place. Mwah!